Hello, my friends. Welcome to my channel. This is Nefer of MagicalMusings.com. If you're new here, I ask that you please subscribe and hit the notification bell if you like what you see. For those returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today, I shall be reviewing Tarot of Dragons by Sean Mackenzie, published by Llewellyn. This deck retails for $31.99 US dollars. And it arrives in a very lovely, very sturdy box. I apologize ahead of time for clearing my throat. I'm trying to get over a sinus infection, so I may be doing that quite a bit in the video. I will try to keep it down to a minimum. First of all, there have been a number of tarot decks out there, and one of the best ones is the Celtic Dragon Tarot, also published by Llewellyn. That's by Lisa Hunt, and that was published in 1998 or 1999. That was the first RSW out there, also published by Llewellyn, is the Celtic Dragon Tarot by Lisa Hunt. I make mention of that just because it was the first Rider-Waite-Smith clone I purchased. I had worked exclusively with the hoi polloi version of the Rider-Waite-Smith for 22 years. And I fell in love with the Celtic Dragon Tarot, and I thought, you know, that was the be-all and end-all for dragon decks. Now Llewellyn has published this new one by Sean Mackenzie. So I thought, you know, I saw the box and I was just like, oh wow, you know, just the box alone, you know. I mean, it's really super sturdy. And what's really nice, it has a magnetic flap closure here. So it's handy too, because what happens is it makes it so that you can set it on your bookshelf. It'll stand straight up like a book, will not pop open, and so this leaves you more room to store your decks, you know. Let me zoom in again so that you're not seeing my whole table here. It stands up like a book, so it doesn't take up hardly any room in your bookshelf. I like that. It does not pop open. I like that too. And here's the back of the box. I mean, is that gorgeous or what? This is a picture of the cover of the guidebook. And it says on the back, take a divine flight through Tarot with dragons at your side. Dragons are legend incarnate. They are keepers of ancient lore and trusted guides to the mystical ways of the Tarot. Now their boundless wisdom comes to you in this stunning Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. Tarot of Dragons filters classic symbolism through a draconic lens, making your readings sizzle with new energy. Featuring Farat Silhan's gorgeous illustrations and a full-color companion book by dragon expert Sean Mackenzie, this deck will ignite your passions, focus your heart and mind, and illuminate your path from chaos to enlightenment. Wow, well, that's quite a claim, isn't it? But it looks like a really amazing deck, so now we're going to crack this baby open. And like I said, I haven't looked at the cards. And look at this. First of all, when you open the flap along the inner spine, isn't that just amazing? The detail, you know. And then as you, oh, excuse me, I'm really zoomed in here because I want you to see all the details. So I may bump my camera from time to time, and I do apologize. Look at that. I mean, wow, you know, when I opened this to get to the deck to unwrap it, I was just like mesmerized. I mean, I stared at this for, I don't know, maybe a full 2 minutes. I'm an artist myself, so I can really appreciate the work that went into this image. And I was like, if this image is any indication of the other images in the deck, this is going to be a bang bang dragon tarot. And here it is. Wisdom from the Dragon Realms. Again, the cards are illustrated by Farat Silhan, and the book is written by Sean Mackenzie. And so they have this pull ribbon here. So as you pull it, you can pull the book out. And the cards came wrapped in plastic. I removed the wrapping. I did not look at the cards. because I wanted to show my real-time impressions of the deck. And then you pull on the ribbon and put your thumb underneath it, pull them out. And then look at the bottom. There's a dragon's eye there. Is that just amazing? And the detail, you know, and it's just an image inside the box. You know, it may be also one of the cards, I don't know. They did the same thing for Sukkah Tarot, and that one had an actual card image was inside the box. And you don't know that till you go through the deck. So we're going to do that. And I will set the box aside. Okay, I know you're here to see the cards. You're not really here to see the book. But I can tell by the weight of the book it's going to be something. The reason I can tell is because it's really heavy. Llewellyn in recent years has gone to using glossy, high-quality paper for their guidebooks. And that's what this is. I can tell without even opening it. And I swear I did not open the book when I unwrapped the deck. Wow. I mean, wow. And you know what card this is? That's obviously the High Priestess. You've got the two pillars, and you've got the moon, and you've got the Torah here. That's the High Priestess. Wow. Gorgeous or what? And again, like I told you, it's that high gloss, high quality paper. A little bit about the author and the illustrator. There's the High Priestess again. There's the dragon's eye. Look at that. Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Now let me flip through here and just see. They have full page illustrations here for their introductory material, and I just want to see if they do that for each card or major arcana. Okay, let me see. The Fool. Yeah, they have full page, full color illustrations of each card. Look at that. No border. I mean, this makes for an amazing study book. You know how sometimes if you really want to look at the symbolism on a card, and they have those black and white thumbnail images of the card that are about yay big in the guidebook, or sometimes they don't have any images at all. So what do? If you really want to study the symbolism on a card, you get out a magnifying glass and you look at the actual card. Here, you don't have to do that. You have a larger than life version of the card. Let me go back here to the Fool and we'll do a size comparison. I could do a size comparison with any card, but I want to do it with the same image. Okay, here it is in the deck, and there's the card. Look at that. Awesome for study. Awesome. Okay, we'll set the book aside, and we're going to look at the cards in order. There is no gilding. Okay, lots of decks these days are coming out with various color gilding. This does not have it. Let's look at it. Is glossy, fairly sturdy. I'd say that's good quality. This is the card back, completely reversible if you read reversals. Alrighty, and here we have the Fool. And there's the Fool with her little white dog, and she or he is about to take a step off the cliff. But you know, this is a dragon, so it doesn't really matter because it has wings, it can fly. So there's no danger in stepping off a cliff, and it's probably getting ready to take off and join its friends up here. So that's the Fool. Here's the shaman. Okay. Now we have usually the tools of the tarot, of the minor arcana, are in the magician. So we have a wand here. We have the cup. We have what I assume is the pentagram. No, here it is, the coin or the pentacle. And the sword is here. So the shaman, otherwise known as the magician, has all the tools of the tarot deck at his disposal. And here is the image from the book cover, the High Priestess. I love this. Already, the images to me have a very deep, mystical feel to them. Here's the Empress. Now, she has a little baby dragon here to magnify the symbolism of motherhood with this card. And then you've got the fawn here and the doe. Again, the motherhood, pregnancy, fertility, you know, the traditional meanings associated with the Empress. You can still get that from the imagery on this card, even though the imagery itself is not that traditional. Now we have the Emperor. And this was the image from inside the card box. I don't know, is this a reflection? Yeah, that's a reflection. You can see the castle here, and then the Emperor with his outstretched wings. Very cool. A very powerful looking card. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, the Hierophant. Oh my, look at this. Okay, first of all, I have a doctorate in Latin American Studies from the University of Texas at Austin, and I studied classic Maya civilization, religion, their epigraphy, which is their hieroglyphs, and their art history. And this is the pyramid of the magician at Uxmal. You know, right off the bat, I can see here, this is a Mayan style pyramid. And the dragon is rising up behind it. He's on top of it. He's showing mastery over it. I mean, that's just a magnificent image. And here are the animals indigenous to the area. And the jaguar, which was sacred to the ancient Maya. Oh, this is just... that's just breathtaking. Another thing I love about this deck, no borders. Yay! I don't like borders because when I read the tarot, you know, I go not just by meanings, but by images. And so if there's a border between them, just think, if each card has a border, that doubles the width of the distance between the actual card images. And that to me just creates a blockage in reading. I often trim my decks. I know people are probably freaking out. Oh my God. But no, I do perform borderectomies on my decks because I find that my readings flow much better when I have no border. So I can go from image to image and I read what's going on here and combine it with what's going on here, and it lends a whole other meaning to the reading. So for me, not having borders is super important and it's such a major perk. Here are the Lovers. That is just beautiful with the koi here. Oh, gorgeous. Okay. And here's the Chariot. And we have our first human figure. I don't know if we'll see any further human figures on the other cards. I assume since there's one here, there's going to be more. But I just love it. And I love the depth of field on this card. I mean, look at the background here. And these buildings in the mist and the misty moon in the far distance. I mean, it's almost gives an image, well, it really does. It gives it a 3D effect. Oh yeah, here's another human figure. This is Strength. And this human is taming his dragon, I guess. He's got his hand on the dragon's nose. I just love the colors. It's so vibrant. This is the Hermit, holding his crystal ball. Fortune's Wheel. or the Wheel of Fortune, as it's known in most decks. And you've got the entwined dragons. Now this one's different. I mean, let's look at this. It's got, what do they call those half snake, half dragon creatures? Are they Verns? WRERN, I think. Anyway, and then there's a Chinese dragon lion creature here, and then you've got like a dragon looking unicorn creature, and then a turtle. That's awesome. I totally love turtles. I adore turtles. I self-published the Turtle Lenormand. It's all turtles. It's a whimsical deck. If you're interested, message me. I always have copies of that on hand. And then we have Justice. Now, this is some interesting symbolism going on here. You've got the owl in the one scale, and you've got the mouse with the twig in the other. And there's the Sword of Justice. Very intriguing. Here we have the Hanged Dragon. And it's, there's a jaguar here. So it harkens back to that Mesoamerican Mayan connection from the Hierophant. That's very interesting. Here's Death. Wow. Look at that. Is that powerful or what? I mean, this deck, the art is amazing. It's making my third eye pulsate. And here we have Temperance. Another gorgeous card. I hope the minors live up to the majors. You know, sometimes they don't. We have the Devil, and he is trying to break his chains. It's interesting, you know, in other devil cards, you see the humans are in chains. You don't see the devil in chains. That's an interesting take. Ooh, the Tower. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That is such a high energy card. You get all that energy swirling around the tower, about to bring it down. That is really something. And then we have the Star. The Star is almost always my favorite card in the deck, and not just because of its reading, but usually in the vast majority of decks, that's where you're going to get some of the most beautiful artwork is devoted to the Star card, and this one is no exception. That's amazing. I love the detail of the smaller dragons. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's just stunning. Okay, and then we have the Moon. And we have here a pair of cats. You've got a tiger and what looks like a wild kitty of some sort. I don't know if it's a bobcat. And then we have the crab. We've got two towers in the background, and of course the dragon within the moon. God, that's stunning. And the sun. Whoa. A super high energy card. I mean, my third eye is just, oh my gosh, it's almost giving me a third eye headache. This is something. And here we have Judgment. Here's the dragon's eye that's inside the box. I figured it would be on one of the cards, and it's the Universe card, and I wondered if it would be that card just because of the celestial background within the iris of the eye. Very cool. All right, now we get to the minors, and we're going to go through, let me check. Yeah, we're going to go through the wands. And here we have the Ace of Wands, all that creative potential, strength, new beginnings. We have the Two of Wands, looking off to new horizons, weighing our options. There are the Two Wands, the Earth, which is often held in the palm of the man, depicted on this card in other decks. That's really cool. And then we have the Three of Wands. Here he is, overlooking the water. The ships are coming in, just like in your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith that shows the man looking off to the horizon and the ships are coming into port. Same thing, opportunities coming forth. Then we have the Four of Wands. This is interesting. Typically you have 4 wands set in the ground with a floral garland, sometimes with a house or a castle in the background, and it symbolizes a couple beginning their life together or moving into a new home. Here the dragons are, I think they're about to erect the wands, or the wands are actually erected in the ground behind them. And then they're standing within the wands, is what's going on here. Interesting. And the Five of Wands, which is a card of conflict, and here they are, spewing fire at one another. We have the Six of Wands, which represents victory after a battle. So here we have our victor, and oftentimes they are depicted wearing the olive leaf crown, which we don't see here, but we see him holding up an individual here, a knight, whom I guess the dragon has overcome in battle. Here's the Seven of Wands. Here's another man here, another human. Then we have the Eight of Wands, which is a card of swift developments. It can represent travel, you know, a situation that's evolving quickly. The Nine of Wands, which represents completion. And here their dragon has his 9 wands erected, and he's about to erect his final wand here and complete his job. The Ten of Wands, which is a card of burdens. And usually these are burdens that have been taken on willingly. And now we have the Courts, and we have the Page of Wands, and here's the younger dragon. And then we have the Knight. And he's now a little older, a little taller. You can see the progression here. Let me kind of set these up here. And then we have the Queen. And the King, who has his child there. That's interesting. You don't see kings represented with children, whether they're human or dragon or otherwise. That's really cool because, you know, it focuses on the fatherly element of the card. I love that. And let me kind of lay them across here so you can see them all depicted together. I apologize for the glare of my light. I keep trying to move it out of the way, but there we go. All 4 of the Wands court cards. And now the next suit up are the Cups. I just love how vibrant the colors are. There's the Two of Cups, the young couple getting to know each other. It's funny, here I get the impression that they're not too sure about each other. You know, they're kind of eyeballing each other and going, I don't know if you're going to be right for me or not. This is a card representing a couple who are just in the stages of getting to know each other, just starting to date. Here we have the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebrations and friendship and community. And the Four of Cups represents having blessings in your life, but being focused on having more. So you're kind of like a little disappointed in the blessings you have, and you're focused on that cup that hasn't quite yet materialized yet. And then we have the Five of Cups, and this represents partial loss. Whenever cups are upright in the tarot, they represent being filled with the goodness and the blessings that the universe has to offer us. When they're tumped over, sometimes stuff is depicted as spilling out, usually wine. This represents a loss. So here this dragon is focused on the three cups he's lost, and he forgets he has these other blessings still remaining with him. So all is not lost, but it's a card that portrays that feeling that all is lost, even though it's not. And we have the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups is a card of friendship. It's a card of nostalgia, yearning for what was once, you know, looking back on one's childhood, missing old friends. I don't really get that vibe from this card, but then again, you know, every deck does its own take on things. And here we have the Seven of Cups, which is usually, it represents someone who builds castles in the air, a very idealistic person, but also very creative. Here's the Eight of Cups. And in this card, we have the dragon walking away from the cups. You got the moon in the distance, representing unknown lands, unknown horizons. And the dragon walks away from the familiar into the unknown. And it represents a person who's become dissatisfied with pretty much everything in their life. And they decide to start a new chapter. And then we have the Nine of Cups. This is a card of abundance, and it's a card of opulence and having all that you want. It can also be a card of overdoing things. And we have the Ten of Cups, which represents the happy, blessed family and fulfillment on the family level. I like it how the young dragon looks like it's dancing. It's so cute. Okay, now we have the Courts. And I'm going to just lay them out. I'm going to use this book to kind of keep the cards level. But here is the Page. And here we have the Knight. And the Queen. Now that's interesting. She looks like she's conjuring a dragon spirit here out of the cup. That's a neat image. And then we have the King, who again has his child here. So there are the Courts for the Suit of Cups. Now we'll go on to what I assume will be the Suit of Swords. That's the usual order. Nope, it's Pentacles. They surprised me. Okay. Here we go with the Ace. You get that hatched egg and all that swirling energy, you know, all that burst of potential, new opportunities, new life. Here are the Two of Pentacles. And the Three, and here he is being industrious and working on his project. He's setting these bones around the shield. I guess these are shields of knights that they have vanquished, and the knights' bones. And then look at the pile down here. Then you have the Four of Pentacles. And the 5. Here are the 6. I love how these dragons are depicted with other animals. That's really neat, because those animals and their symbolism, they add that to the meaning of the card. And you have here the 7 of Pentacles, which is all about planting seeds and waiting for the harvest to come in, biding one's time. And here is the 8. And the 9 of Pentacles. There is often in other decks a peacock or a falcon depicted being held by a woman in her garden. So here you've got the here you have what look like a couple of falcons or similar birds, and here's the peacock. So again, it's that Rider-Waite-Smith imagery coming through loud and clear. And then here are the 10. Here's the 10 of Pentacles. It's another happy family card like the Cups card, and instead of a emotional fulfillment, this is material fulfillment and good health and prosperity, abundance, and having all that you need and then some. Okay, now here are the court cards from the suit of Pentacles. Here's the Page. And the Knight. The Queen with her eggs. And here we have, well, that's out of order. Okay, these are now out of order. How did that happen? Wow, okay, I'm going to have to, that out of order in the box. Here's the Sire of Pentacles, which is the King. And again, you have his little baby dragon. That's so cute. I love that. So that is now the courts for the suit of Pentacles. Now we're going to go on to the swords, which seem to be out of order, which is a shame because I like to be surprised when I'm looking through a deck. So I'm just going to look at the names as I get them in order. I don't know how they came out of whack like that, but okay, all set. Here's the Ace of Swords. Swords is the suit of obstacles, delays, heartache, grief. So it's not a good thing to get a lot of swords in your reading. And the Ace of Swords, they're also the suit of thoughts. Swords are associated with the element of air, which governs our thoughts and mental and academic pursuits. So the Ace of Swords can represent, new knowledge coming in. Sometimes if someone's going to go back to school, it can represent that. And then we have the Two of Swords. And that's usually the inability to make a choice, being faced with alternatives, not knowing what to do. Here's the Three. And often in decks, the Three of Swords is depicted by a heart pierced by 3 swords. So here we have, I guess, the dragon's heart is exposed. And we have 3 swords down here in the ground with his blood on them. It's a very dramatic image. The Four of Swords. This is a card of needed rest, usually because someone needs to rest and recuperate from an illness or from just going through a really stressful time. The Five of Swords. Here we have the Knight, who again is being vanquished here. His horse is off in the distance. He has his sword. There's two others with blood on them, meaning this dragon has probably overcome his two friends, and plus the dragon's grabbed another sword. So there's probably 3 knights that have fallen in this battle, and this is the only one that remains. Then we've got the Six of Swords, which represents passage away from difficulties, and in other decks, this is depicted usually by a woman and a child in a boat with their backs to the viewer, and they're being ferried across to a new horizon. The new horizon represents better times ahead. And here we have the Seven of Swords. And this represents a card, it's of someone who makes off with things that don't belong to them, like a thief. So here he's got his swords he's taken from someone. He obviously has got a human bone here, which he's, has no right to have. He's been gnawing on it. And this other dragon is coming up, and it's going to try to pull that bone away from him, or maybe grab his swords. Here we have the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords is all about feeling constricted and trapped by circumstances, not realizing there's a way either around them or through them. And here's the Nine of Swords, which is a card of extreme anxiety. It can often represent having nightmares about a situation, the inability to sleep, inability to eat well. And here it is, the dragon having a nightmare of a battle and being surrounded by humans. And here's the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is the card of betrayal, and it's literally the card of being stabbed in the back. That's the shorthand meaning of the card. And here we have a deceased dragon, and the swords all protruding out, and another dragon in the distance, probably expressing its rage over its fallen comrade. And now we have the court cards. And our tour of Tarot of Dragons is about to conclude. There's the page. Here's the Knight. And this is interesting, the tornado-like energy, because the Knight of Swords always tends to bring chaos into a situation. So that's a really apt depiction there. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. And the King or Sire of Swords. And there's his child. Also, he's got a butterfly on his paw here, meaning he has a soft side. So here you go, the court cards from the Suit of Swords. Again, this is Tarot of Dragons by Sean Mackenzie. Artwork is by Farat Solhan, published by Llewellyn. It's a brand new deck for 2022, retails for $31.99. And it meshes very well with Rider-Waite-Smith energy. If you're used to reading with that type of deck, you would do really well with this one. I would say it's also good for beginners because it contains imagery from the Rider-Waite, and the symbolism on the cards is pretty clear-cut. Look at that. They shuffle great. Flexible, but not too flexible. And there you go. Tarot Dragons by Sean Mackenzie. Artwork by Farat Solhan. Published by Llewellyn. I highly recommend it. I can't wait to do readings with this deck. And dare I say it, it might give my old favorite, the Celtic Dragon Tarot, a run for its money. I don't know. But there you are. I appreciate you tuning in. Again, if this is your first time here, I welcome you, and I ask that you please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell to be notified of when I post new videos. I don't tend to post very often. I'm going to try to do better about that. And My website, magicalmusings.com, I offer spells and readings and visionary artwork, which is by commission only. I'm also the award-winning author of The Egyptian Lenormand, published by Schiffer Books in 2014. And I have self-published The Turtle Lenormand, as well as Guidance and Inspiration from the Angelic Realm, which is my first oracle deck. So if you're interested in any of that, shoot me a message. And you can also Google them. All my decks have their own pages on Facebook, so you can check them out there. I appreciate your time today, and I wish you all many blessings.